Good evening and welcome to the Poets Cafe. It is where artists comes alive. The spoken word brings forth the inner creation of hidden treasures, expressing tones of lyrics felt within the soul, a vibration that brings stories untold. This platform represents artists of all backgrounds, be it writers, singers, spoken word, artistic expression in painting, literature, poetry, and a journey through life. Mystery seeks to bring new ideas and opportunities through the mind at all levels. Wherefore my time leaving tomorrow on the wings of yesterday, where birds fly higher than the mystery of dreams never knew. Why do mellow sounds ring silently without ever leaving memories of my lonely blues? We walk by the calls of nature, sing in harmony, pray for the love of the sky, and dance with the stars like a feminine ballerina, gazing across the stage in her soft-toed ballerina shoes. Welcome to the Artists of Poetry Cafe show, Poetically Speaking, hosted by Terry Benjamin and Ron C. McCray. As delighted as we are, we can't wait to engulf a new wave of presenting this platform to our audience. So, sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Now, let's get started.
Let's get started. This is Poetically Speaking, the place for the spoken word, with yours truly, Terry Benjamin and Ron C. McCray. And again, today's agenda is "This is for the leader in you." And the quote is from a dynamic leader, a legendary leader, and his name is John C. Maxwell. And the quote is, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." And that's from John C. Maxwell. We'll talk a lot more about him as we get into the show. But again, the idea, Ron, that I had was that to lead someone, to lead an organization, to lead a group, you have to be able to lead yourself. Because I don't think that you can be a good leader and you're all over the place. So you have to have the discipline and the fortitude, and you have to have the vision to do that.
Absolutely, and you got to have patience. And too often, too many want to be in a position without understanding what the conditions and the situation will incur. You see, so it's not just putting on somebody else's shoes unless you walked in those shoes. And if I walked in those shoes, I never felt the pain.
That's right.
And so when you have people all around you, you trying to lead somebody, and all of a sudden you get all these voices and everything coming at you. Now you act like you done lost your mind. So it's important to understand who you are and what qualities and ability that you have to present in reference to leading somebody, and especially like you said. I mean, it starts within you.
Yeah,
if you don't know how to lead you, then how are you going to lead somebody else?
That's right. And that's why the agenda today is "This is for the leader in you," because I believe everybody has a leader within themselves, and once they learn how to lead themselves, they can lead other people. But as always, we begin our program with Ron's poetry. So what do you have for us today, Ron?
Oh, I always have something.
I know you do. I know you do. I know you do. That's why we call it Ron's poetry.
This is going to be an exciting day.
Oh,
this
no doubt
moment.
about it.
And,
Yes.
But let me just read this one here for starters.
Yeah, please.
And it ties in really to the agenda.
Okay.
Thinketh. Renewing the mind changes the way you think and changes the direction of how you live your life. Thinking can be positive or negative. You choose. Misalignment can cause a chaotic disaster in and out of a twisted confusion. Do you think? How do you think? And what do you think about? Hosea 4:10. The book states, "My people perish for the lack of knowledge." Wow. The foundation of the mind is to obtain all that surrounds it in life. The root of existence to function on a daily basis for the good of the mind, body, spirit, and emotional growth, which leads to health and wellness. It brings all into focus, witnessing between good and evil. The two main purposes are to seek and understand what life is. That cannot be obtained unless one opens up and allows the flow of energy to exploit the mainframe of one's brain. Proverbs 3:5 states, "In all thy ways get an understanding." Ecclesiastic 1:18, for in much wisdom is much grief. Isaiah 11:2 is the spirit of wisdom and understanding. Thoughts, what are they? And does one use the mind? Genesis 50:20. Think evil against me, but God means it unto good. The joy of life is happiness, having a prudent spirit, cultivating a herbal life, and all around and lifting others out of dark, gloomy, and despairing craters. But how can one expand on those things when one chooses not to utilize the mind at its worth? Use it or lose it. Look around at the less fortunate who have, for whatever reason, not been able to use what you fail to cherish. Great philosophers from the school was created for the purpose of thinking, such as Epicureanism and how he viewed the world, while Alexandria became the renowned cultural center of the Hellenistic world. Athens remained the prime center for philosophy. Thereafter came Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, who continued to attract the most illustrious philosophers from the Greek world who choose to establish their schools there. Where is your school of thinking? Inquiring mind wants to know.
Thank you for that. What's the name of that poem again?
Thinketh.
Yeah, again, when you said that, it reminds me of the classic As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. And that was one of the books I encountered very early. And again, and it really makes a difference, because now we're talking about a mindset, that's in the vocabulary right now. A mindset, do you have a growth mindset or do you have a fixed mindset? Of course, the one to have is the growth mindset. But again, it's funny because as we get into our conversation a little bit more, a lot of people understand that a lot of the principles that we have in business and life is from the Bible. And a lot of those books, especially going back to As a Man Thinketh and also How to Think and Grow Rich, a lot of these books has some thoughts from the Bible. And again, I think that's like the first book that you really should study, only if you want to really get a fuller picture of what's going on in terms of humankind and how we develop, and again, how we thinketh.
And also with that, and I stand corrected, even though I'm supposed to know it on a regular basis, but nevertheless, Paul says, I think it's 12:2, Romans 12:2, and he talks about renewing of the mind, change the way you think, and that's what's important. So to be a leader, what we talk about on a regular basis, change the way you think. As I just read, thinketh. You can either think negative or positive. You can think right, wrong, or indifferent. No matter how you look at it, you have to take ownership of how you think. And the thing is, if you realize that the way I thought about something today, did it get me in a situation that I can't get out? Well, change the way you think. You change your direction, and you change your life.
Yeah, and also you have to understand, as we go through our journey of life, there's sometimes, you might have heard something at one time, but it means a whole lot more. I mean, I was raised in the church and that kind of thing, and a lot of scriptures that I as actually recited as a child, I didn't really understand what those meant, but now in my later years, I over-understand what that meant. And that's why, we have a community out here who tune in every Thursday and Sunday, and they comment, and we really welcome you. We welcome you to come in to this program today. And this program is really special because we have great guests, and also here, Sheila Bird, she says, good evening, brothers Terry and Ron. And Sheila is the producer of a show on this BKS1 network called Unapologetic Amateurs Looking for Experts. And of course, the host is Ruby Shires, and it's so funny. That's how I got my start. Well, that's how we both got our start, because we were guests on this show, and I became a permanent co-host. And then Ruby asked me. She said, I'm going to maybe take off the month of August. You want to continue? So yeah, I'll continue. And then even before I decided to do that, I had to be away from the show. And she asked me, could you think of anybody else could fill in? I said, well, one person I could think about is Ron McCray. And then Ron came on, and then make a long story short, he was a guest on a few of the programs, and then we decided to do Poetically Speaking together. But the point that I'm making, and this is the point that I want our community to understand, is that you don't come to this level of leadership overnight. As a matter of fact, there's a training. There's a training, and it could be formal training. It could be informal training. But the thing is that you have to know what you're doing. And that's why I'm so happy to have on our program today a young man who has proven himself to be a leader in many different areas. And Ron, I remember the first time we met him. You know, he was being honored by his family and his friends, and I'm saying, wow, you know, here's a young man who is respected in the community, and he's respected because he is a leader. And so today's agenda is this is for the leader in you, but I think we'd be remiss if we didn't present to you our community who we consider a great leader. And who might that be, Ron? Who am I talking about?
Well, as we always say, you know, we have our guests, we identify them with their titles and position. But in this case, as a family, you always say brothers and sisters.
Right.
And so with all respect, you know, we're going to identify this brother as a family, you know, a guest. Really down to earth, and there's going to be so much that he's going to instill us with that is really phenomenal. And, you know, the most important thing is that each and every time we have a session, you know, it's always, the fruitfulness becomes even greater. And that's the blessing of it. And that's why we try to introduce to you, and you speak to us with your comments and our guests. We try to always show that we are about what life is, about what we stand for. And every topic that we give, we try to give it to the point where everyone, regardless of the age level, whatever the case may be, that everybody, somebody will always benefit from it. And we ask that you spread the word as we try to spread the word.
That's right.
And so I have in front of me, and I stand corrected again, you know, the title or the background of this brother. You know, and if he didn't like me calling him brother, he would tell me, hey, don't call me brother. But all
call me brother.
So let me just give you his background, okay? And let me start with this, what I have. It may be wrong, but he'll correct me. Over the past 40 years, brother's name is Derek. Derek the Hawk. HAWKINS has dedicated great deals of his time tutoring, mentoring, and speaking to young men and women about the importance of education and giving back to the community. He is passionate about making difference in the lives of young people and has attended career day at Teachers Preparatory School in Brooklyn, New York, and several other schools in the New York, New Jersey area. He was a coach, a mentor for Brick City Things. Oh, Think. A program designed to help Newark students improve their math skills. I failed there. Aside from basketball, music, and spending time with family and close friends, Derek enjoyed interacting with students. Derek retired after 36 and a half years with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, where he served as a design engineer, contract engineer, project manager, and senior project manager. He often shares his work experience with the Port Authority, especially in small groups, like those he faced during Career Day. Derek was also the president of the Newark of Black Employees, an employee resource group. Derek assisted the coach of New Hope Baptist Church boys basketball team in Jersey City and found another opportunity to mentor and work with youth in the community. Since 2000, Derek has been spiritually guided by the wisdom of Pastor Alonzo Perry of the New Hope Baptist Church in Jersey City. Don't tell your pastor I'm messing up. And his current pastor and bishop, Superintendent Anthony W. Gilliard,
Yes.
Bethlehem Judah Christian Fellowship in Elizabeth, New Jersey. He is current a deacon and the president of men's ministry at BJC. He actively supports the church programs and its many projects. Derek's commitment of being different to being a different maker continues to drive him and keep him involved with with students and young adults in communities. Throughout the tri-state, his love for community and the development of the young men and women in his path drives Derek to continue his involvement in his and other schools. Derek is Distinguished Toastmaster, or DTM, the highest achievement issued by Toastmasters International. In 2022, Derek successfully completed the Maxwell Leadership Certification Program and is hereby recognized as a Maxwell Leadership Certified Team member and is licensed to provide facilitation, speaking, coaching, and training on approved Maxwell Leadership personal and professional development. Continue contents, development contents, and prescribed by this program. Wow. Derek is a brand partner with LifeWave, a technology company that has developed a stem cells activation patch that uses light and energy to improve overall wellness. For more information about Derek and his activities, visit his link here on BKS1, Poetically Speaking. Now you will hear from our guest, our brother, Derek Hawkins.
Give that brother a hand. The Hawk.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, brother. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Glad to be here.
Oh, man, glad to have you.
Yes,
We just get right into it. I guess my question, I want to go to Brick City Thinks, as they said, it's a mentoring program. Would you tell us a little bit about that? What is that about?
Absolutely. There was a gentleman who wanted to help improve the math skills of the students in Newark. And so what he did, he started a program called Brick City Thinks. He knew that I had a passion for working with young people, so he asked me to work with them and a couple other people. And they use there's a website by a gentleman named Khan. I think it's called Khan Academy.
Okay.
And so they taught math, and what they did was they made it fun. So if you got things right, they give you stars and recognition. And it was interesting when I was working with the students. I was used to doing math the old way. It was very quick.
Yes. Right.
But I noticed they had started using all these extra steps.
Okay.
And so when I would show them the shortcut, they'd appreciate it. But they said, well, you will get it, not that you'll get it wrong, but you won't get the credit if you don't show all these necessary steps.
Okay, right.
So again, that's part of my passion in working with kids. So and I was I was an engineer, so math was my strong point.
Okay.
So it was very easy for me to work. It was after school. It was a great program. A lot of the kids got awards at the end. But you can see the growth and the development because they started to enjoy math. Usually, math is the least favorite subject for most people. Well, a lot of people.
I can attest to that.
So that's how I got involved. I was asked to participate. Actually, the gentleman who started was a Jewish gentleman. We both were in Toastmasters together.
Oh, okay. And
he asked me to work with him and a couple other people. It was a great program.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. We have a community here, Laretha Foster-Bram. She said, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Again, we have people who tune in every week, and I think they tune in because we give them something that's authentic. And like I said, I mean, this is a real brother right here. This Derek Hawkins. And Derek, you mentioned the word passion. And before we go on, what does passion mean in leadership? How do you define that?
For me, passion means that you would give your all. It's something that you enjoy doing without thinking about the reward.
Okay.
So when I think about passion, it's something I do almost like instinctively.
Yeah.
And I think it started when I was a kid. I remember seeing that there was a gentleman in my neighborhood who was, at that time, they considered him, they would use the word autistic.
Okay.
And these two guys went to beat him up.
Wow.
Now, I'm smaller than these two guys, but, I ran over there and to jump in, knowing I was, outmanned, and they ran. And I said, I thought it was me, but I have 6 brothers and some of them were behind me. But, I always had that spot in my heart for helping people, particularly people who were either, disadvantaged, disenfranchised, or people who didn't have the abilities that most people have. And I really hated seeing people being taken advantage of.
Yes.
So I developed a passion for helping people, and that carried over into, math. and everything else that I do, you know, with ministry and going to the schools and talking to kids. You know, because I was passionate about it, so I would go to these schools because they would have career day, and I would purposely put on a suit and a tie and walk in there so they can say, hey, you know, this could be you, you know, and I talked about what I call the soft skills. So often they talk about, you know, the getting good at math, English, and the core stuff, but I talked about your language, your communication skills, being a leader. You know, so those things, I always had this passion. I think it was always in me. I guess it was God given. We talk about our gifts, and I think being passionate for people who are less fortunate, particularly. I have a soft heart, spot in my heart for that.
Derek, that's beautiful. Sheila Bird says, "Welcome, brother Derek."
Thank you,
Sheila Bird. Looking in, you know, it's so funny that you mentioned in your bio, you mentioned John C. Maxwell. And you said that you are a certified trainer in terms of just, I guess, the things that he brings to the table. And I like John Maxwell because, again, if I'm not mistaken, he was a pastor, right?
25 years.
25 years. And so, again, it's almost like he came out of the church to do this. And I have this book in my hand. It's called The 7 Indisputable Laws of Teamwork. He said, embrace them and empower your team. And of course, you know, this book is so rich in quotations here. And he says here, this is from the book. He says, when the team you have doesn't match up to the team of your dreams, then you have only two choices: give up your dream or grow up your team.
So true. Yes.
Is that familiar to you?
Absolutely. And it is, and I'm going to use sports as because I play sports a lot.
Yes.
And again, when things aren't working and going your way, like I said, you have a choice: either keep going down that rabbit hole that you're not getting the results, or you have to make the tough decision and get a new team. And that doesn't just apply in sports; it actually applies in life. You know.
That's beautiful. And so, before I bring my brother in, there's two things that I just want to put out there. Number one, Ron, you know I like acronyms, right? So I got to share this acronym: TEAM, TEAM, and it's broken down here. It says here, together, everyone achieves more.
Yes.
And that's team. And it's so funny because, you know, when you talk about John Maxwell, a lot of people quote John Maxwell, and they don't really know it's John Maxwell because everybody has heard this one right before. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing is, Ron and Derek, they don't go for the full quotation. And here's the full picture. Teamwork makes the dream work, but vision becomes a nightmare when the leader has a big dream and a bad team. Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work, but if these jokers are not doing what you want them to do, it's all for nothing. But I want to ask you one thing, Derek. Now, is being a leader is that lonely?
It can be. It can be. And I give you a perfect example. Right now, I'm the leader of the men's ministry, and prior to the pandemic, we had a lot of activity, a lot of input. Since then, it's been down a lot, but getting men together, for example, to work together is a challenge.
Yeah.
A lot of times, men think they don't need the help. They don't want to be transparent. So again, it could be tough to be a leader because again, you want people to participate, and you got to find the right balance and find a way to get them to want to participate more. The women tend to get together a lot easier. It seems to be seamless the way they get together and do things. But when it comes to the men, like you said, it's a little more challenging. And again, what I keep doing is just lead by example. So I show up whether they show up or not. Sometimes you have an event and you do something, and there's funds required. And a lot of times as a leader, you have to be willing to, put out funds, to make things happen. So there's a lot of sacrifice you have to make. But yeah, it can be lonely. But it's always rewarding. Even sometimes if you touch one person, I never forget when I worked at a local YMCA after school.
Yes.
And so when I walked into the room, I came after work. I had my suit and tie on. It was a group of students, but it was another group of students from a group home. They have the discipline.
Oh, okay.
And so, so they wouldn't pay attention. And there was one woman, one young lady in the group, and she was really rough. And but she was really smart.
Yes.
So we connected. And so the next time I came to teach, talk to the students, they was out of hand, and she said, "Mr. Hawkins is talking." Silence.
That was it.
And again, and ever since then, I never had an issue with it. And she went on. I think she became a doctor or something.
Okay.
But she really, it surprised me because again, you would initially think because she was really rough and she was, but everybody was scared of her. But she was really smart, and then because we connected, she became that person that helped me make life easy for me.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
There are so many points to this, and everybody's right on point here. And just to give you a synopsis here, because the conversation automatically brings me back to, I remember when I was in the service, I was a squad leader, so it's not easy. When I had to go see the colonel or something, I had a whole barracks at one time, and I went to see the colonel with just me and his brother.
Right.
So when I was at AT&T, I was the union rep, a steward at the time. And so when I had all these people with issues and whatnot, when I saw one of the managers, there's only two of us, me and this other guy. Everybody backed off. And it continues. It's the same thing in church, no matter how you look at it. And the Bible says, many are called, but only a few are chosen.
That's right. That's right.
But many don't understand and know the difference between your choice and your desire.
Yeah.
You see, there's a difference.
Yeah, I like that.
But either way, it's going to be a battle. Are you ready?
Right.
You see, if there's a desire, you hang in there. Even Dr. King got to the point where he wanted to give up. Jesus went to the Garden of Gethsemane because he's like, you know what? Dad, this is a mess.
That's right.
And so even as a parent or a fellowship leader or activist, no matter how you look at it, it's a challenge. But if there's a desire in your heart, you continue. Sometimes you're going to end up by yourself.
That's right.
Former president NAACP, it was a battle 4 years.
That's right.
You see, so even in conversation, you hear people say, well, they ain't doing this. But it's not about what they are doing. What are you doing? It starts with you. Do you want to participate to make a change? Because if you do, once you step out there, then it's a responsibility that you have to take on, even if somebody else don't want to be with you, because there's a lot of distraction inside.
That's right.
But in the same token, there are so many who want to participate but don't know how. They don't know what to do. So a good leader knows how to redirect and realign those person who has a desire to make a difference. And even as I guess the brother was saying, working, one of the things I admire and respect is the fact that he deals with girls and boys, men and women, both sides. This is not about one side. It's about both sides because both sides need direction. Raise up a child the way you want him to go. When they get older, they won't depart from it. They will always remember. And that's where the teaching comes in. As a parent, as a grandparent, as a guardian, no matter how you look at it, it's a responsibility that you take on. And my brother here, as you know, because I always say, always be ye ready, because you never know you never know you might be called upon. So all those who are in church or the Islam or Torah, whatever, the fact is when God calls you, do you answer the call? Do you respond? He don't say, well, I got this. No, he said, I called you. Now you got to step out there on faith and believe. And there's many times that most of them stepped out there. Ask Joshua. He felt that I don't want to get carried away, but just to get you short. Even Joshua was called by God to go take care of a responsibility, a task, and only found out he felt like everything was going against him. God said, "Why are you crying? Get up off your knees. What you down there for?" He said, "Well, you said da-da-da-da." He said, "Yeah, that's right. But there's someone among you that, in short, doing wrong."
That's right.
So once he searched the camp and found out who it was, he got rid of that bad seed. It's the exact same thing here. You look at the one who's creating the distraction. You get rid of that one. But you save the other one because those are the seeds that continue to grow the fruit of the labor, of the trees of your life and make you a better person, a better leader. And that's what we're about, to make people young, better leaders. Because if you don't lead a group or somebody, you have to know how to lead yourself.
That's right. That's right. And it's so funny, Derek, as I was doing my research on you, man, I saw this magazine cover. I said, man, who is this? And it's so funny because the brother looks so strong on the cover. I said, man, I want to know this brother. And this is from the cover, Ron. This really got me. It says here, modestly, journeying through faith, family, and leadership, inspiring others with purpose, commitment, and vision. Now, did you say that or somebody said it about you?
Actually, they said that about me. I had to send them a little bit of information about myself. And they wrote the article, so you give them some background information.
Yeah, yeah.
And they knew like some of the things that you guys knew, that I was passionate about working with kids.
Yeah, yeah.
How important faith and family is to me, leadership, and it's some of the things that I'd done. But yeah, they wrote the article. I just
But Derek, I'm saying, man, I saw that picture and I saw faith, family, and leadership, and then the purpose and the commitment and vision. Now, my question to you is, how do you live up to that? I mean, do you feel that you got to be a Superman? I mean, can you make a mistake? Can you have an off day?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things I'm transparent about is I'm not perfect.
Okay.
I'll make mistakes. Things don't always go the way they should. And I'm quick to, share that, and I think that transparency helps. Like when I connect with other people, it's because I'm transparent.
Okay.
I'm not trying to act like, oh, I've always been here. I said, no, I've started at the bottom everyone else and still working my way. Mm-hmm. And I think when you open up to people like that, you connect with them because you relate to them. You see them for who they are and not judge them. Don't prejudge people. I give them, I always give them the, when I think about who I meet, I always give them a benefit of a doubt until they show otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So I start out that way.
Yeah, it's beautiful. As I know, like when I was teaching, I would come to the class the first day. Mm-hmm. I would ask the student. I said, "I'm Professor Terry Benjamin, and this is English 101 or whatever it is." And my question to you is, who wants to get an A out of this class? Everybody raised their hand. Okay. I mean, who really wants to get an A from this class? Yeah, I want to get an A. And I said, okay, all right. Well, here's the syllabus, and here's what you got to do. But what happens is that everybody starts out with an A, and then we get into the semester. I don't have my homework. I meant to study. I didn't read this because I didn't know if it was going to be on the test. And so the A now is a B, and then now it's a C, and then you don't come to class, and then you come to me and say, Professor Benjamin, the reason I was in class because I don't have a car. I said, I don't have a car either. And I'm here an hour before class. If the class is 8 o'clock, I'm here at 7. And I'm taking the train from Rawway to North. So that's no excuse. Right. But Derek, what I find a lot of times is that when I tell my son this, he's a personal trainer, has a fantastic body. Mm-hmm. And I tell my son, I said, you know what? A lot of people want that body. They want that body, but now they're not willing to do the work.
No.
I mean,
the end result.
Right. You can have all this. Mm-hmm. You can have all this, but you got to be willing to do the work. And as a leader, you have to really do a lot of work behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. So when you come before people, you project a certain attitude, a certain persona. And again, and a lot of leaders like myself, a lot of us are introverts, which means that I tell you, a good day for me is like sitting in my chair reading a good book and waiting for my dinner to be prepared. That's a good day for me. But the point is that when I have to rise to the occasion, I'm going to rise to the occasion, but I'm going to be fortified. And I always say that, and this is from a quotation, and the brother said, the secret of success is good people and good books. And I do believe that, because I do believe, I tell my brother all the time, 2006, I read a book called The Secret by Rhonda Burns. And basically the secret was the law of attraction. And I didn't realize that all through my life, like you said, all through my journey, I was attracting people. Mm-hmm. And I was attracting situations that would help me. I'm a poor black boy from Elizabeth. Born in 1950, and then 1968 when I graduated from high school, I had no prospects. Mm. Going to college, that was an impossible dream. But what happened is that my brothers and sisters in North, they raised so much hell, they tore so many buildings down that, we got to give these black people something. So they gave us the Educational Opportunity Fund program. Mm-hmm. I was one of the first students in that program. Wow. And make a long story short, that door of opportunity opened for me, and I got right into it. Derek, my question to you was, now I know some of your family background and whatnot, but in that environment, I didn't see who you are now. So my question to you, when was the turning point? When did you say, you know what, this is the vision for my life, and I'm going to achieve this vision? Did it happen when you were young, when you were a teenager, when you were an adult? When did it happen?
I think for me it happened when I was a young adult. Okay. because I played basketball. That kind of kept me away from the things that were happening and right around me, the drugs, the alcohol, the shootings, and the gang and the violence. And for me, seeing it had the reverse effect on me, I guess, than others. Some people would see a drug dealer with a nice car and money, and they would say, "Oh man, they'd want that." And I would think about all the challenges they have, and the fact that they had to constantly look over there. And I knew some guys who've been through that, and I saw them in their older age.
Yes.
And I never met a old drug dealer.
No.
You know,
they don't retire.
He'd be dead in jail. So,
right.
and then I went to a camp. So I kind of got out of my normal environment, and I got to go out in a camp far away from home. And with sports, it allowed me to travel and see other things. So that gave me the vision, like, hey, there's a lot more to it than just what I see around me. And I aspired to have those things, and I knew, that what it was going to take. And I had other people around me who had a lot of good mentors.
That's beautiful.
Some older brothers, some of them were doing the wrong thing, but they would tell me, listen, young fella, you keep doing what you're doing. So I got encouragement from people that even were doing the wrong thing, as well as people who were doing well. And so that kind of gave me that extra boost, that confidence to know that, I guess seeing in me what I didn't see in myself.
That's beautiful. And Queen Ruby Showers is an interesting guest, good for my youth group, and good show. So you may get another invitation to be on another BKS1 show, because I mean that's how it works around here. You're on one show and they see you and say, I wanted to have them on my show. But the thing is that because we are a community here at BKS1. We're a community of I don't like to say like-minded people. It's really like-spirited people. Okay, because because when I first met you and also your wife, I got the energy. And then like I said, and Ron, we talk mostly every day, and and again we are very particular who we have on the show, only because we want to make sure we can help you, but we want to help our community, right, Ron?
Absolutely, that's without question. Absolutely,
yeah.
And just with that, I'd like to piggyback off there for a second and put this out there. I'm a very good friend of a pastor in South Jersey, and he represents the FBI Citizens Academy, who works deal with those who are engaged with the community of youth and the kids and whatnot, whether it's backpack schools or different activities. And so here, by the end of the show, I'd like to introduce you to that pastor and make the connection so you have a conversation, because I think there's a lot in common that is truly needed, because what you presented is what's needed. We talk about that all the time on this show, and we can see it, because years ago, yes, they had all the playgrounds, had the swim pool, arts and craft, and all of a sudden, by design, I say it all the time, they took all that away. Now they take that away and they lock you up because you don't have anything to do, you don't know what to do yourself, but there is still too many remnants out there that can be and will be saved. You see, we can't believe and trust in God and follow the word if we don't do his work, no matter how you look at it. And so if you could save one, you could save a lot, because that's all it takes. It took a seed to start some roots.
That's right.
It caused a tree. It caused some fruits.
No
matter how you look at it.
Hey, brother, you a poet that don't know it. that was beautiful. But I think, again, I think, like Derek says, sometimes we got to see an example of what's possible for us. Because sometimes we don't know. Because when I was growing up, going to Thomas Jefferson High School, and like I said, I didn't know. I never thought I would go to college. Never thought I'd be a college professor, because I thought that the teachers lived at the school. No, seriously, because when you go to school,
there,
right, they're there, right, and then when you leave, they're there, and you never see them in the street. So I said, man, I don't want to be a teacher, because I don't want to live at the school, And when I became a professor, I remember I was with my wife in Red Lobster one afternoon, and I'm usually when I teach, I'm in a suit and a tie. So I'm in Red Lobster with my wife, just chilling out, t-shirt, jeans, and whatnot, sneakers, and one of my students came into the Red Lobster, and she freaked out. That's my professor. He's eating. He's real. Yes, yeah. And she could be like seeing a celebrity. Is that really Denzel Washington? That's Denzel. That's Denzel. That's Denzel. Denzel. And it's so funny because again, because when we look at people like Denzel, and again, one of the greatest that ever did it, and it's so funny because him, like Sidney Poitier, went into directing, And Denzel went into directing, and the first movie he directed was Antoine Fisher, which is one of my favorite movies. Derek, I tell you, I can watch that movie every day. Every day. Especially when he says, yeah, I think I can eat. And people don't realize that, I don't want to get too far into this, but Viola Davis was in that movie. She was the mother that had abandoned. She was the mother who abandoned Antoine Fisher. And he came to her, and she was just so blown out, she couldn't even say anything. Right. But she was just crying, you know? Viola Davis.
Right, that's right.
You see that? Because she's a comedian. You know, she's been in a lot of movies. People say, well, I don't remember her from that movie. Yeah, that's Viola Davis. Yeah, nice. And one of the things about the movie and that really got me was that when they were putting the movie together, Denzel said, you know, I want to direct the movie, but I don't want to be in the movie. And they said, well, look, we spend too much money on this movie. If you want to direct the movie, you got to be in the movie. And so he started the movie along with Derek Luke, who I got a chance to meet. You know, a beautiful brother. I've met him and his wife and whatnot. And sometimes it's not good to meet the people that you admire. Yes. Because sometimes they stink. But you know, but Derek was beautiful. And I hope that Denzel might be the same. But one of the things that I want to take away from that, poetically speaking, you know, Derek, the character Antoine Fisher, he had a poem in the movie. And this is that poem. And it really touched me when he said it. And I said, I got to share this. And this, and the poem was entitled, Who Will Cry for the Little Boy? Remember that? He says here, who will cry for the little boy, lost and all alone? Who will cry for the little boy, abandoned without his own? Who will cry for the little boy, he cried himself to sleep? Who will cry for the little boy, he never had for keeps? Who will cry for the little boy? He walked the burning sand. Who will cry for the little boy, the boy inside the man? Who will cry for the little boy who knows well hurt and pain? Who will cry for the little boy? He died again and again. Who will cry for the little boy, a good boy he tried to be? Who will cry for the little boy who cries inside of me? And I tell you, boy, people crying in the theater. Not me. But people were crying because
that'd be me.
No, because I mean the little boy, the little boy, and you need to heal that little boy and heal that little girl, because if I thought, well, I'm the little boy is hurt. I mean, in the Antoine Fisher, he was abused by his cousins. You know, his foster mother called him the N-word on a daily basis. And then he came to the house and whatnot, and he said, look, you know, you did this to me, you did that to me. You know what? I'm still standing.
Right.
I'm still standing. Whatever you did to me, I'm still standing. And that's why, you know, when we talk about on the program, we talk about literacy and developing the habit of literacy. You know, every day you do some reading. Every day you do some writing. Every day you do some talking. Every day you do some listening. And every day you do some viewing. You know, you view a film like Trouble Man. You know, you view a film like Claudine, another one of my favorites. You know, but again, so we need a visual, and I'm just gonna end this segment what we call Music is Lit. I want to end with this song, and everybody knows this song because it was a film called Night in Miami, which was a meeting of Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, and Sam Cooke, and Regina King directed the movie. Very good. And in that particular movie, of course, they had a song that was inspired by a song by Bob Dylan called Blowing in the Wind. And so the answer, my friend, is Blowing in the Wind. And Sam Cooke, who was not just a singer and a songwriter, but also a business owner and a leader in that particular field. And he said, you know, I'm inspired by this song, Blowing in the Wind. As a matter of fact, Stevie Wonder also recorded it as well. But he was inspired by this particular song to write this particular song. And everybody knows the song. And this is another song, man, that make you cry. And the song by Sam Cooke is entitled A Change Is Gonna Come. And it says here, I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die because I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keeps telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me, please. And he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. There's been times I thought I couldn't last for long, and now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change going to come. Oh, yes, it will. And what I'm saying to our community, what I'm saying to my brothers here, that, man, we're going to make a change. Okay, we're going to make a change. You know, the brothers in this room, the brothers that we meet along the way, we're going to make a change because you know what? I got grandchildren, and I'm not going to let my grandchildren go through the nonsense that we're going through right now. Yeah. And so, you know, we're going to make a change, and I think the one way we make the change is really developing our teaching ability, where we teach each other. Right, and we teach our children. They destroy the Department of Education. That's bad, but you know what? I really feel our job is to educate our children. Okay, and that's why we got to have books. We have to have whatever we need. You know, we got the Bible, we got these books, and that kind of thing. Dina Robinson says, "Good evening, I'm here." Hello, Dina. You know, and again, man, we have. I mean, this moves so fast. I mean, we're going to continue. But, Derek, I want to just engage you here. And, again, we talked about this gentleman named Brendan Burchard, you know, his manifesto. Mm-hmm. But he wrote a book called The 6 Habits of Growth. Get unstuck and create the life of your dreams. And I want to say it again, The 6 Habits of Growth. Because I do believe that success is a habit. You know, and it says here the 6 habits of growth: get unstuck and create the life of your dreams, by Brendan Burchard. And for the little time that we have left, I just want to look at these 6 things, and we won't be able to go through all of them, you know, because we don't have the time. But I just want to. This is 6 habits that Brendan's puts out. He says number 1 is motivation. Mm-hmm. Okay. Number 2 is focus. Number 3 is confidence. Number 4 is energy. Number 5 is purpose, and number 6 is leadership. And Derek, I want to just go to you. And again, like these are habits, but from you, okay? How can you develop motivation as a habit? Because I know, you know, reading your resume, brother, you are self-motivated. Mm. You know, I don't think anybody say, Derek, you know, it's time to get out of bed. You know, I don't see that from you. So, how do you develop your habit of motivation?
My motivation comes from one, reading, listening to audio. It used to be cassettes and then DVDs. So listening to people, you talk about Jim Rohn, people that are successful. Sometimes it's just one quote that they make, and it just hits you. And being around other people, I make it a point to be around other people who are positive, uplifting, as opposed. And I can't be around negative people long because they start to drain my energy. And so I get around other people who are like-minded. I purposely go to events and workshops. But again, I'm motivated because I want to do better, and I think I'm motivated by helping other people because that's what drives me actually.
Beautiful.
The fact that I can help somebody else because I'm comfortable, you know, and I feel I'm doing well for myself. But there's so many people hurting that are around me, and so I'm motivated to help them, uplift them, do things that I can. So that's what gets me motivated.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful because it seems like for you, I think, I mean, I just, you're a very generous man. And I think what it is, and we talk about this all the time, you know, between ourselves, is that, I mean, I think one of the keys to success is constant learning, okay? Yes. You're always learning. Every day you're learning something. And that's motivation right there. But let me go to the next one, focus. How do you develop the habit of focus?
Focus could be tough. With focus, you know, I tend to go and have a space that I go into. My wife knows it, in my room, and so I kind of block out some of the distraction because it's very easy to be distracted. So I try to find ways to avoid the distractions. So for me, it is, and I used to write and plan, You know, one of the things is having a plan.
Yes.
You know, have the saying, you know, you don't fail a plan. You don't plan to fail. You just fail the plan. So I like to write what I'm planning to do, sometimes just for that day. And again, so and my wife, we call my wife the purpose pusher. She actually will remind me about things that I committed to, and sometimes that's part of it. I'll make a commitment to something, and I said, well, I got to follow through now, because I hate letting people down. So if I make a commitment, it's almost like, okay, I don't feel like, and I'll give you a perfect example. They had an event. In fact, this is how I met Ron.
Oh, okay.
It was a Friday. Me and my wife usually hang out on Friday. We go to movies, relaxing day. But we made a commitment to come down to put up this tent with my brother Ron.
I heard that story.
So I said, you know what? I didn't feel like going. I said, you know what? I have to go. I said, you know, we made a commitment to her friend and to brother Ron. I didn't know Ron at the time. So that I went. And again, look what turned out from it. So,
that's right.
So keeping my word. And that's the keeping my word. I'm big about keeping my word.
But that's accountability.
Accountability,
because we keep each other accountable.
Yeah.
We know that every Thursday and Sunday we got a job to do.
Right.
We got to meet at a certain time to get here at a certain time to do a certain job.
Exactly.
You know, and it's so funny because, you know, as we do this program, and I'm enjoying you so much, Derek.
Appreciate
it. After the program, you know, you can go right to YouTube and see the program.
Oh, good.
And so what I do after we part ways, I go and I watch the program, get my water with the lemon in it and whatnot, and I'm sipping the water and I'm enjoying the program.
Right.
But the thing is, Derek, you know, again, I know that you didn't get here by accident, and I get maybe I'll do like maybe one or two more. Do I have time for that? You think? Yeah. Okay, because let's say the habit of energy. How do you do that? Where do you get your energy from?
Energy, part of it is staying healthy. Again, I was an athlete. I played basketball at a young age. So I think I developed with some of the coaches. I had one of the toughest coaches probably ever. When you talk about Brooklyn, there's a guy named Gil Reynolds.
What?
He's a military guy.
Okay.
Gil was the kind of guy that he would punch you in the chest and tell you to go get your father. And he had drills where you would actually take a charge where you stand there and somebody had to run into you. But again, you know, a lot of that comes from you know, habits, people around me. I hung out with people who were disciplined. I had one of my favorite mentors. When he would go play basketball, he would wait till nighttime. He would run all the way to this park, which is a few blocks away.
What?
He had those weights they used to wear in their ankles.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
he would I would play him a full court.
What?
You know, and so I developed this habit of this work ethic and energy, and I think a lot of it, like I said, is the habit of eating right. I do sleep. More time I don't sleep enough, but I go to, because I'm retired, so I can go to bed late and get it, but I still get 6 to 8 hours. It's just not traditional time. But so the energy comes from, like, you know, again, and I think the motivation, the internal motivation to make a difference, pushes me. Like I said, doing things sometimes when I don't feel like it, and because I make a commitment, it kind of forces me to have that discipline.
Well, I'm gonna go before I go to my brother. I'm actually just one last question. Now you said you retired.
Yes.
Now shouldn't you be taking it easy, kicking back and whatnot? Because that's what retirement means, right? That means that you just chill, right? What's wrong with you? You retired.
You're right, because it was funny. Before I retired, a lot of people said, "Well, you know, what are you going to do?" I said, "Well, I've got plenty to do." And that's when I started my journey with John Maxwell. Actually, when I retired, it was during COVID.
Oh, wow.
And so,
me too.
Because I knew I was retiring, everything that I ever wanted to do, I tried to do all at once. So I kind of overloaded myself, but John Maxwell was one, finishing my thing at Toastmasters, starting a book that I have to finish. You know, I started all these things at the same time, but, you know, now they're starting to develop and come out slowly. But, I always wanted to retire and do other things, you know, outside of just going to work every day. And 'cause I did that grind for, like I said, 36 and a half years, nonstop commuting. And I've seen people that worked, felt like they had to work. You know, I said, if I get a chance to retire early, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Because now you have better control of your time.
Yes.
Now, did I say that you have a book in the works? Did I hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What's the progress on that?
I have the draft written.
Okay.
And now I just have to put together. I'm still tweaking it, because what I did was it's called a daddy code.
Okay.
How to improve the father-son relationships.
Oh man, please,
So
we
I
need
had
that book, bro.
Yeah.
We need that book
Yeah.
like right now.
So what I did, I talked to probably over 100 different men. I asked them to give me some feedback, and it was basically 3 questions. One, what are the three to four things you wish your father taught you?
Okay.
You know, and then now as a father or parent, what do you want to make sure you 3 or 4 things you want to make sure to teach your child?
Okay.
So I'm putting those together, and out of the 4 or 5 things that are most prevalent, I want to develop into a workshop.
Okay.
Because I do empowerment workshops where I bring in somebody to talk about finance, somebody talk about health, somebody talk about spirituality, and now mental health. So that book is started as a book, but it's going to actually develop into a conference where we come together and you know, find ideas to deal with those things that we talked about.
Well, my brother,
So-
we're going to keep you accountable, okay? Because you're going to have a book. I
My
mean,
purpose pushes.
We're going to keep you accountable.
Yes.
And now you know
right.
retired college
Retired,
professor,
yes.
editor, publisher.
Right.
You have no.
There's-
This man, he's published books. I
Oh, I
published
know.
books. Yeah, that just no. It begins today, okay?
Yes, okay.
We're gonna hold you accountable. You will be accountable, brother.
Absolutely.
Okay. Ron, what time we have? Because I'm having too much fun, man.
You know, we got a few minutes.
minutes,
But
okay.
let me do this in short.
Please.
Because as my brother said earlier, in reference to you're a student getting all excited wherever he's working. Let me tell you something. This is serious.
Right.
Just a few months ago or so,
Yeah.
we went to
It's fresh. It's fresh.
Union County College.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Snuck in the side door.
Yeah, right.
That means I
Incognito.
thought we snuck in the side door.
Right.
The moment that door opened,
Uh-huh.
hey, professor, hello. All the way down the hallway, all inside the class, he was all over the billboard, here and there, one night.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Yeah.
You see, because it was important. We say it all the time. You never know who you might pass along the way.
Right.
Everybody with the outward appearance doesn't necessarily mean that they're nobody. Even when I when I had the opportunity being on Ruby Shaba's show, you know, as a guest, and then filling as a
Right.
host and whatnot. But it wasn't until, unfortunately, the sadness of family member that at that time, reading the bio of her sister, then I realized that was a group when I was young hanging out in West Orange someplace.
They had a singing group at that
Singing
time.
group.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. You don't know.
Right.
And I'm almost sure I have a picture. I ran across a photo that I have taken with you some time ago.
What?
And if I recall, I think it was a dark blue suit,
Yeah, I
blue
wore a
jacket
black
or
suit a lot of
something.
times.
But I got to go back and double check. And I said, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's happened to me a few times.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, so with that in short, I also like to throw this out there right quick. As you indicated in reference to, you know, being focused. Joshua 1:8, you know, meditate on this day and night. Don't look to the left, don't look to the right. So again, everything falls into leadership, you know, and that's what's important, you know, no matter how you look at it. And I like to read this one piece right here because, again, helping somebody, helping young middle, whatever.
Yeah.
This is taking...
You're getting so hot, man.
Wow,
you
gotta do it to myself.
Drop the mic.
Yeah, drop the mic.
Before you're done.
This is taken from one of the books I had when I was in school, Peacemaker. And so let me read this right quick while I hold the mic. This is important. And this says, as an example, suicide. When people lose all hope of resolving a conflict, they may seek to escape the situation or make a desperate cry for help by attempting to take their own lives. 1 Samuel 31:4. Suicide is never the right way to deal with conflict. Tragically, however, suicide has become the third leading cause of death among adolescents in the United States, partly because so many children have never learned how to deal with conflict or constructively. That's important because, again, work with the youth. Talking to them, allow them to feel the energy, the activity, knowing that somebody cares. Because even in the school system, they're taking out all the trades and everything else. There was every trade unimaginable. So you took away the trades, you take away the activities in the schools, in the community, whatnot, and now you have lost kids. But they're not lost. They just have to be found. You know, because as we know, one person's trash is somebody else's treasure.
That's right.
You may think you trash, but you're not.
Right.
You just trash in society, but you treasure that haven't been found. And we're here to find you, just like we need you to keep us accountable for raising you up, guiding you, because again, always remember, you are the future. We are your past, the history. So in the present, don't hesitate or be afraid to talk to us. Every adult, ask the question, say, I don't know, I might be lost, because you don't know, it might be drifting. But don't ever give up. and allow somebody who's trying to help you, guide you, male or female, young or old, doesn't matter.
That's right.
Again, it's a blessing, no matter how you look at it. And it's truly a pleasure and opportunity to have our guest, our brother here, to give who he is, his background. And Terry Benjamin as co-host or whatnot. You know, no matter how you look at it. So once again, we truly thank for all those who came on, those comments and everything else, no matter how you look at it, until we see you again, till we speak to you again, till we meet again. Because you never know where you might see us.
That's right. Poetically Speaking, the place for the spoken word, Thursday and Sunday, and we welcome you.